Can you please explain how this film and the issue with Mumia deals with the youth in Harlem and especially all over the world?
30% of African American males in the United States between the age of about 16 to 29 are in prison, parole, or probation. And all of the violations in Mumia's case, prosecutorial misconduct, the tampering with evidence on the part of the police to obtain a conviction, judicial bias, discrimination in jury selection, those are the issues that are responsible single-handedly for the incarceration of so many young African American males in this country.
More news tonight. Terry Blair is now a convicted serial killer.
The victims' families are overwhelmed, but the judge who made the ruling took a swipe at investigators in the case. Peggy Bright is live with continuing coverage. Peggy?
Well, Laura, Judge John O'Malley heard the case without a jury and delivered his decision today with a half an hour's worth of explanation. But what mattered most to the victim's family were the judge's final words.
I find beyond a reasonable doubt that the defendant, Terry Blair, is guilty of murder in the first degree for the murders of Sheila McKenzie, Patricia Wilson, Anna Ewing, Darcy Williams, Claudette Janelle, and Carmen Hunt.
LA's most prolific serial killer may have been caught. Cops arrested 72-year-old John Floyd Thomas Jr. based on new DNA evidence. They suspect Thomas is the infamous West Side rapist who raped and killed 30 women in the 1970s and 80s. That number could grow as cops reopen cases as far back as the 1950s. The murder victims in all cases under review were older white women, most of them lower-income widows living alone.
A serial killer convicted of rape and murdering 11 women in Chicago could have been sentenced to death. Instead, a jury recommended that Andre Crawford spend the rest of his life in prison. And as ABC 7's John Garcia reports, some relatives of the victims say justice was not served today.
Shortly after hearing the verdict, family members of the 11 victims held hands and prayed outside the courtroom. Most say they had hoped to see Andre Crawford headed for death row. Life in prison is not the justice they were looking for.
I wanted him dead. I just wanted him dead. I wanted the verdict to come back for him to be deceased.
When you got angry with the prosecutor, you said, "You're a drop shot."
I called him a drop shot.
What's a drop shot? What's that mean?
Quite simply, in our vernacular, a drop shot is a guy who's not worth much of anything. You know, just drop him and shoot him and get him out of the way. In other words, you're useless.
Immediately he started attacking. He came out of the chute like a bull. When he said, you want the real Wayne Williams, you've got him, I think all of us, the jury, understood that, yeah.
I'm like, this man gotta be crazy. This man, I mean, it's like he's saying, you know, yeah, I killed him, but you better prove it. You know, can you prove it? He was doing everything he can to outsmart everybody. And it was like, I did it, but can you prove I did it?
This witness, Robert Henry, did place Wayne Williams with the very last victim, Nathaniel Cater. Henry worked with Cater. He said he saw him leaving this theater with Williams on the night of the bridge incident. Henry has no doubt, even today, about what he saw.
We were holding hands, you know, like male and female. Well, if you're holding hand with one of my coworkers and both of you are males, what am I supposed to do? Turn my head?
Judge O'Malley explained in great detail why he found Blair guilty. He also criticized the police on the case for sloppy and unfactual reports because of a network camera crew that followed them throughout the investigation. But the relatives defend the detectives and the work they did. Listen to Patricia Wilson Butler's daughter.
They made mistakes. They're human. They made mistakes. They never had something like this on their hands before. They made mistakes, but they did their job.